Enemies of the First Order, we will soon snuff out your meager resistance. You chose the wrong side, and now you will pay. The Resistance prisoners.
You have what I want. You know the location of the secret base, and I will take it from you.
We'll need it on the bridge.
Keep the prisoners here. I will return to finish this personally.
We're with the Resistance. We're here to rescue. Let's go.
Testing. This thing on. Can you all hear me way back in the back? Welcome aboard, folks. We're ready for a relaxing ride around the park. Hey, you making me up? Gosh, bear with me. What could possibly go wrong?
Get happy, México Street. This way.
This is a 1/8 inch to a foot scale model of the new restaurant that we're putting in. We call it the Plaza Inn.
This has been my home for 30 years here at Disneyland. I'm really looking forward to sharing the Plaza Inn with you. So why don't you come follow me? Come on in. One of my favorite show items at the Plaza Inn is our soda machine. It looks like it's made out of brass, but it's actually made out of wood.
It's going to be a period restaurant, period about 1880, 90, with beautiful interiors, and a solarium and all of that. And the people can come in here, get their food, they can eat inside, or they can go out and sit in the garden.
Walt had John Hinch, one of the great animators of the studio, help design the Plaza Inn as authentic to the era that it's supposed to represent.
Johnny, will you explain to Juliet how what we're doing here, what this is all about?
Now over here is the serving area, and as you select your food, you can see through the dining room to a large solarium at the end. And through the arches, to your left, you can see this large, beautiful aviary.
Here in the atrium, Walt wanted to have great big cages with live birds. So about 14 years ago, they added the cages that you can see behind me.
You have breakfast, lunch, dinner?
Breakfast with Minnie when she brings her friends over to visit with you. It's an all-you-can-eat buffet breakfast. For lunch and dinner, what we're most famous for is that incredible fried chicken. You're not going to leave hungry when you leave the Plaza Inn.
And Johnny, just be sure it looks as good as the model, huh?
Well, it is a new weekend, which means a new Disney News Talk Live. Hey, everybody, it's Wade for the Kingdom Report. Can't wait to get started with you. Top stories from Disneyland to Walt Disney World and Disney Cruise Line. They are announcing a maiden voyage date now for the new Disney adventure. We'll dive into it. Even more magic has been announced for Disneyland 70th anniversary celebration. We have all the updates for you. We're going to bring you up to speed. And that isn't the only anniversary going on. The 30th year of Disney's Blizzard Beach water park at Walt Disney World. They have a string of celebratory things that are going to be happening around that park that we will bring you as well. I'm joined by Katrina Manzone and Garrett Hassel this week, and you know we love rewarding you for watching or listening to the show. All you got to do to win your very own copy of my new book, Standalone, The Walt Disney Way, leave the phrase that pays underneath this video right after the live show is over. As soon as the live show is done, leave the comment, Disney Springs. Disney Springs is the phrase that pays this week. You have between now and Monday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific time in which to enter. If you are the winner, we will reach out to you and get this book shipped your direction, all by leaving the phrase that pays Disney Springs in the comment section beneath this video after the live show. Or you can get your own copy of Standalone, The Walt Disney Way by me, Wade Heath, over on Amazon right now. The show begins next. You stick around. Lots of fun to be had. Disney News Talk Live, your opinions, your Disney parks experiences. Hey friends, it's Wade for the Kingdom Report, as mentioned there at the top of the broadcast. My goodness, it's always great to have you with us, and certainly to be able to talk up some Disney from coast to coast around the world. There is always a lot to share, and I can't do this on my own. You know it, I know it, and therefore I want to welcome aboard, as always, here with plenty of opinions, Mr. Garrett Hassel. Good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you through the screen and the audio waves. And ahoy, hello, and cheers to all our fantastic viewers, listeners, and wherever else you are. I love News Talk Live. I just told you off air, but it's just a way to connect a little bit more intimately with you fine folks out there. And, you know, we don't have the restriction of time on our hands. So get ready for a glorious 3-hour finale, as my friend Sam Eagle likes to say.
My goodness, hopefully not, but I agree with you. It is nice to be able to go long form sometimes. Joining us alongside Garrett is the lovely one, our princess in residency, our travel agent extraordinaire. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Katrina Manzone.
Oh my gosh. Happy weekend to all. And also, happy International Women's Day for all you fine women out there that are strong, powerful, and beautiful, just the way you are.
As the husband of a woman, I will share that to Ariel.
Yes.
And
as you should.
And also to you and any woman I've ever come into contact with. Yes. The world would not be the same without all you lovely people and the great things you do, especially the putting up with men.
Yes, exactly. You should have turned over this morning and was like, my beautiful Ariel, happy International Women's Day. You powerfully strong, beautiful lady.
Oh, I said that. And then she said, be quiet, take me to the gym because I have to study for medical school the rest of the day. And I said, whatever you want, baby.
Classy. No, she's smart.
I'm here for you, my dear, he says. Yes. Yeah. Cheers to all of the women out there as we celebrate quite a day for them. That's for sure. And not with us this week. You might notice The other half of Katrina Manzona is Tyler Crouch. We all know him as our theme park analyst. He is hitting that campaign trail once again. He is really doing his best to shore up votes for his campaign, of course, as we've been chronicling for you over the last year. Tyler Crouch running for Disney CEO. I hope that he is hitting those swing states hard, because that's really where he needs the votes most of all. Katrina, I thank you for showing up. I know he has a lot of obligations right now, though.
I mean, he is a busy fella. You know, he's got to shake the hands, smile, wave. You know, Garrett's got him busy on that campaign trail.
Yes, I do. I told him at first to shake babies and kiss hands, but he said that is not appropriate, especially being that it is a family-oriented brand. And I said, "You coward!" And then he said to go eat a churro and calm down. And after my blood sugar got balanced, I came to my senses and realized that you should shake everyone and kiss everyone. And he still told me that he's on the verge of letting me go. So I'm just gonna sit back, relax, and do what I do best, which is talk.
Yep.
Stellar
and
advice.
smile, and with that great hair.
Thank you. There is something about Disney leadership and having phenomenal hair, especially if you're Daddy Tomorrow, who those fabulous locks that just keep flowing. Chapek doesn't know as much about that, but that's okay.
Less money to spend.
Sure. Yeah,
Yes.
That's what he's all about.
He's
Cutting
got
back.
A wax on that head every once in a while. To Chapek.
Or Nair, either one.
Or we see
that sounds
CEO
painful.
Contenders. We see the contenders for Disney CEO-ship here. The folks that could replace Bob Iger in short order. Of course, we've got Tyler Crouch there, being probably the front runner in my eyes. I think all of our eyes. Alan Bergman, Dana Walden of Disney Entertainment, Josh Tomorrow, Parks and Experiences, and of course Jimmy Pitaro of ESPN. I think Tyler's definitely pulling ahead of all of these nitwits, and I can't wait to see what he is able to pull off.
He's got them in age, and what he lacks in experience, he makes up for with enthusiasm.
That's right. His passion.
That's for sure. Passion. Well,
Passion.
you know, we can't kick off a broadcast without a bit of a question of the week, if you will. And so it's on our minds. We want to know from you. One day, one park, either coast. Where are you spending it and why? One day, one park, either coast. Where are you spending it and why? Garrett, you got one day, you got one park, either coast. Where are you going and why?
I at first thought you were going to say one band, one sound from, Nick Cannon's Drumline, which is just a phenomenal film overall. And then I thought of, what's it? Clear Hearts, Open Minds, Can't Lose from Friday Night Lights. I was just going down all the one-liners.
How do you remember any of this?
Because what I lack in, professionalism, I make up for in quotes, and that is how I live my life. But I've got to go with the OG Disneyland. It's got everything that you can want and more. It's got amazing food, amazing attractions, amazing characters. They've actually have more performers there than at any of the parks in Orlando, I think. And plus, the guests there are a bit more, I would say, well-behaved. They're locals. They know how it all works, and they will keep things. Very demure. And I got to do, Disneyland. It's just, I miss it growing up there. It was, just my favorites. I could just go on the Jungle Cruise all day long, or honestly, just sit in front of the Rivers of America, because that's not going anywhere. And just, watch the Mark Twain go on, guy, toot, toot. And so, Disneyland, final answer.
Toot. Very good.
Toot, toot.
Katrina, you got one day, one park. Where are you going?
This is really hard. Because my heartstrings are torn, because I do agree with Garrett. I do love Disneyland, and I do, I have been craving pizza flopovers lately.
Oh.
The last time we went to Disneyland, I was like, God, I really want a pizza flopover right now. And the mobile order was way too long and I couldn't do it. Anyway, I digress. This is a tough choice. And I want to say Epcot. I know it's kind of like, meh, But it is a really fun place to go because you do get to like walk around, have rides, and then I can be on Living with the Land all day. All day.
All day, son. All day.
But it's just like you can eat and then you can kind of go around the world and you just get different vibes. And you can also like, if I was able to just have one full day there, I would just soak in every country. You just like stop, walk around, look at the nooks and crannies, talk to the natives, and then continue on your way. And then go to the next country.
Natives.
And then you just keep to the natives. You know what I mean? It is fun to strike a conversation with people.
Talk to those ICPs. They're people too.
I guess.
That they are.
Yeah.
They are people too. Katrina, I side with you entirely. I feel like Epcot has so much to do. Epcot to me is of great variety, and I love the educational aspects of Epcot. I love the plethora of food at Epcot. I love the choices at Epcot. And it's such a big park, right? It's so spread
Can't say no
out
to
and
guac.
everything. Oh, that's true. I just
Like,
feel like
all else
that's
fails,
the park
guac and
for
chips.
me. That's a good point. I feel like that's the park though. One day, one park. If I could only spend it in one spot, I think I would go there just because there's so much variety. There's so much education. Yeah. There's something about that place that makes me feel great.
Where else can you go around the world in one day?
It's true. And you can go back in time and just know about history.
And if you want to, sit on like a college campus, like one of their resident halls or whatever, you can just go to the Communicore Hall when it's not decked out for one of the festivals, and it's like you're sitting at a CC.
Yep.
Very good.
He's not wrong.
So I see Quentin saying Disneyland, better weather, and better Pirates of the Caribbean.
Amen to that.
Amen.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Phenomenal attraction.
Quentin also responding with Epcot, Katrina, careful where you step and put your hands in that cosmic rewind ride queue.
I know what you're talking about.
I
don't go on that ride anyway, so we good.
I got a flash to the Twitter posts I saw about that stuff, and Katrina does not do high thrill attractions like that.
No, I did it once. We got a picture, but hair was covering my face, so you don't know if it was me or not. But I was there. And I got conga. And I know how people feel about conga, and you guys are all wrong. It's the best.
Conga's pretty solid.
It is a solid.
Richard saying Epcot for the dining options. Here, yes. Richard. Bravo.
So many dining options, so little time.
There's a lot to eat in that place.
It really is. I want to I want someone to go to every sit-down dining in one day. Like every single one. And get a full-on appetizer, entree, and dessert.
Well, I'm a foodie, so that sounds painful.
So we heard this guy and his foodie-like nature. Well, we've got some stories to chat about here today. Let's start off at Walt Disney World. They are celebrating 30 amazing years of Disney's Blizzard Beach. Walt Disney World is gearing up for a frosty and festive celebration as Blizzard Beach Water Park marks its 30th anniversary this spring. Families visiting the park can look forward to an array of limited-time experiences and special entertainment designed to keep the park's chilliest celebration ever alive all month long. Starting on its 30th anniversary, April 1st, Blizzard Beach will officially kick off its milestone celebration with a variety of exciting activities. Guests can enjoy live DJ performances, spinning frosty beats, opportunities to meet beloved Disney characters dressed in cozy winter attire, and special digital frozen photo frames to accent super cool memories of their aquatic fun from that day. Oh, there's just synergy coming out of this script like I've never seen. Throughout the rest of the Blizzard Beach season, which runs through the end of April, its anniversary celebrations continue with dance parties, games, and 30th anniversary temporary tattoos. The park will also feature exclusive anniversary-themed merchandise, food, beverages, and much more. Oh my God, kill me. Wow. Ensuring that visitors can revel in the festivities both in and out of the water. Although Blizzard Beach's celebration will wind down at the end of April, the wet and wild fun won't stop there. On May 1st, Disney World's tropical oasis water park Typhoon Lagoon will reopen to supply guests with its own signature tropical themed adventures. Created by a legendary typhoon that once struck the island, Typhoon Lagoon offers visitors a playful mix of wrecked boats, stranded fishing pier, plenty of opportunities for excitement and entertainment. And guests staying at Disney World resort hotels in 2025 can also look forward to an extra perk that's complimentary water park admission on the day they check in. It's the perfect way to make a splash at either Blizzard Beach or Typhoon Lagoon during their stay at the most magical place on Earth. Katrina, how long of a trip to Disney World do you recommend in order to enjoy the Disney water parks? Obviously, there's a lot to do in a place like Walt Disney
Yeah.
World, and where do you wedge a water park in at?
That's tough because it also depends on the people too and the families because some families don't care about Epcot. They may not care about Animal Kingdom that much. And just like Hollywood Studios and Magic Kingdom is like all they're in for. So then they can definitely do like Blizzard Beach or Typhoon Lagoon. But if you want to hit like all the parks and actually enjoy all the parks and do the water, I like honestly, I would have to say like 6 to 7 days
Wow.
to
Yeah,
not
I mean,
feel like you're missing out. You know what I mean? Because if you do Animal Kingdom, then you can probably go to like one of the water parks like in the afternoon, nighttime and stuff. But to like actually like fully soak in everything in the Disney World property with like Disney Springs, the 4 parks, and all of these, it's like I was 6 to 7 days.
I don't disagree. I feel like it's a good off-day park too, right? When you're trying to just
Yeah.
relax a little more. Garrett, you have a preferred Disney water park between Typhoon Lagoon and Blizzard Beach?
I'm quite torn. So a while back, Wade, you treated Ariel and myself to going to Blizzard Beach, during the pandemic and everything, and we
Aw.
had an absolute blast of a time out there. And first, I hope that we will see Ice Skater. For those that have never been before, like both of these. Like as Wade said, both of these water parks have stories to them, and this one is, a snowstorm hit Florida, which that doesn't happen every day. Plus, there's mountains, which again doesn't happen in Florida because it's completely flat. If you're at the top of the Contemporary, you can see all the way to downtown Orlando and pretty much down to Miami. Man, look at that stud muffin, man! Look at that tan, fantastic. But I really like Blizzard Beach. I think I have a soft spot for it because when I was a performer in my college program, I got a Blizzard Beach goofy shift, and it was one of the most fun days. Not many people get that shift because usually the full timers take it. And on it, Goofy got to roam around, high five people. Had on a special little water outfit, and Summit Plummet is just a cardiac arrest. Excitement booster, if you can call it that. But I love the park just because it's a lot of fun. There's something to do. The theming is great. Mount Gushmore, and yeah, it's just really fun and nice. Typhoon Lagoon is not bad. The wave pool is amazing, but I think Blizzard Beach just has a lot more smaller attraction that you can do over and over again, and they're all themed around like kind of winter games. Whether you want to race a friend on the slide, which I'm apparently too big for because I got some hang time. But yeah, there goes Garrett. And when you go down Summit Plummet, I probably was off the ground for a good second and a half, and I had like a good 3 inches, and I was freaking out. But man, what a blast! Yeah, Blizzard Beach is gonna be the one that I like, and they've done some Frozen attractions or Frozen theming there, so I say do it. Look at that, boom, number one. Across the board, I've made those 10-year-olds wish they'd never raced me before.
What a champion. Waving his arms around, blowing kisses.
Humble and kind. That's how you describe my winning ability.
Oh. Humble and kind. You're like Cinderella.
Yeah. Yes, just a brunette.
Right. Little brown hair. Quentin saying, of course Garrett loves water parks. He married Ariel.
Very true. Except Ariel, despite her name, is not a big fan of water. She likes dry land more. She loves Disney cruises, but like when it came to this past, New Year's when we were on the Treasure, I was swimming with stingrays and trying to see if I could try and capture an island like a pirate. And Ariel typically I'd stay dry, but yes, she's always a big supporter of me, and that one gave me a wedgie that time. Yep. Oh man, look at those tan legs. Woo! My gosh. Yep. Ooh,
Oh,
that's some fan service right there, baby.
Something. I don't know who it's servicing, but yes, no, absolutely a park that is worth visiting at least once in your life. If you've never done a Disney themed water park, you won't visit a water park quite like these anywhere else. I mean, these are uber themed, over the top, really special, attraction based experiences when it comes to water parks. And I can't think of a better way to spend some free time at Walt Disney World than to take one of your off days and go spend maybe half a day at a Disney water park. And I think Richard was saying here in chat just a second ago, during summer you kind of got to plan in and around the thunder lightning storms that happen in the afternoon. Right, hottest time of year. But yeah, that's certainly something you got to plan around, because they also make you vacate the water when those sorts of things happen.
Yeah. With Florida, there's something about summertime storms that will happen right at 3 o'clock. I think if you get to the park when it's summertime in Florida, it's already 85 degrees by 10 a.m. So if you get in right when the water park opens, you can usually get to do everything by the time the storm starts to roll in. And then after that, go hang out in Disney Springs, or do what we like to do, which is head into Epcot for the evening and just stroll around and taking the ambiance and the atmosphere. But it's nice that these are defined as water parks and not as another theme park like Universal does, and say we've got 3 theme parks here prior to Epic Universe calling Volcano Bay their 3rd theme park. It's a water park. Like don't give it extra credit.
They really do try and sell it as a 3rd theme park, don't they?
Yeah, they really do. They're like, we now have 4 amazing parks. One of them is a water park. It's completely different. But like, it's cool. It's got a cool volcano that erupts, and they do have an awesome queue system with like little bracelets and stuff.
I mean, I will say Universal, like I hate water parks. I despise them. I'm with
You and
Ariel.
Ariel are best friends.
The girl and I, we get along. And then so when we went to Volcano Bay, I would say it was fun, and it is kind of like an all-day experience because they are kind of like, it's like interesting because of the lazy river. I would say they really do push it being like a park, but it is fun. I feel like I enjoyed that more than, I don't know why. I've never been to Blizzard Beach or Typhoon Lagoon, but I know I have not. The only time I've ever been to Blizzard Beach was when we had to do COVID checks, when we had to go to parks. And then we had to like drive through there and do a COVID check. And that was the only time I've ever done it. Yeah. But I did like Volcano Bay. It's just really expensive because they do nickel and dime you for everything. You're like, oh, you need a towel? $7. So if you do it, do a cabana. Because that's what we did once. And it was worth it because they shut down the whole park because of the thunder and lightning and the rain.
Yeah.
So we had safety when it was pouring rain at the cabana. And this poor guy was like serving us drinks in the rain.
Those poor cast members, they definitely are they're definitely, tackling the element, whether it's the heat, the cold, or lightning and thunder. Yeah. Disney cast members, I think the cast members that work in the water parks, they're used to high and low crowds. So I think they genuinely have a pretty fun job. Like, they don't take it for granted. And on those busy days, they know they're going to work, but then they get that downtime. So I don't know. There's sort of like a line where it's like, okay, are you a cast member in the parks? Or are you in the water parks and resorts? Because I feel like those are 2 different areas, and you kind of get 2 different experiences when you interact with cast members from different areas or different, different categories.
Well, I'll tell you, I've had the pleasure of visiting Typhoon Lagoon for the summer Typhoon Lagoon after hours, after dark events
that's
that
right.
they've done. Right. So, last year I went during the middle of summer to experience the after hours there at Typhoon Lagoon. I did it once before in 2019, and I wanted to see how different it was post-pandemic. Like, did they draw back on things? Did they did they cheap out on different elements that I remembered from 2019? 2019, it was in its infancy, right? They were just trying it for the first time, doing an after hours event there, and really having it be all about, like things that glow after dark. Imagine, a water park after dark, everything being lit very dramatically, which is a cool effect. I felt like, believe it or not, I got a lot more last year. I think that they fine-tuned the offerings. I think that they recognized what people liked from the before pandemic era, and they really honed in on those extras. And so all the ice cream you want, all of the you don't get a Garrett to take home. Sorry, folks, but you get all the ice cream you want. You get all the soda that you want, all the popcorn that you want. They've got these like complimentary glow drinks, like little virgin
That's
virgin
cool.
drinks that you can take. Yeah, and what I like is that virtually everything is free or discounted. And then on top of it, they've got, the DJ bumping hits on the beach of
Mm-hmm.
the Typhoon Lagoon itself, where you've got the massive tidal wave pool. I don't know. I felt like it was, especially for the value. I think it was 4.5 hours that you could spend there. You could mingle in with the normal water park guests. I think about an hour or two before it closed, and all in all, it was $75.
That's not
And
that bad.
yeah,
4
it was
hours?
a great
Not at
deal.
all.
Yeah, that
Great
reminds
deal.
me. That reminds me of when in the college program they had the Starlight Splash, and that's where they all the every depending on whether you're spring or fall, that'd be almost the end of year where everyone gets together at the water park. You just party and have a good time, and just a nightclub atmosphere. And
Yeah.
I think that place is. I think the water park is a perfect place, especially in the hot summertime. Cool off, relax, go on the lazy river, or go in Typhoon Lagoons, like monsoon, wave pool. That it's not multiple waves like you grew up with. This is one massive tidal wave that just destroys humans. And if you're not a strong swimmer, don't worry, the lifeguards, they are ready. But yeah, Typhoon Lagoon, I think it's great for parties. And didn't they do like a Teen Beach movie or one of those Disney ones there? I feel like they did. I can't recall though.
I know that they themed a season of parties after it. When
Yeah.
that was really hot. So, and all kinds of characters too. I think I forgot to mention that. Tons of characters that they pop into those parties with little to no weight, and a lot of them are dressed in their beach gear. So I don't know. I feel like it's a great value. Ended up running into several WWE superstars who were also there enjoying the party and having some fun together, and that was a cool effect because they were just as big of a fan of Disney World water parks as I was. So I thought that was really
That's
neat.
fun.
WWE superstars, they're just like us, only
They're just
get
like
paid
us.
only get paid more and get paid to hit people with chairs and have really great workout routines.
And last week became evil for the first time. John Cena. Oh my gosh. Oh, it set the world on fire. John Cena.
What a turn of
turning
events.
on all of the fans. Anyway.
He I thought, wasn't he egged on by The Rock? Was he, or are he and The Rock like in the League of Villains together? Like they've been in.
They've joined forces.
Is it because of the Fast and Furious franchise? Like if you do Fast and Furious, you become because isn't Roman Reigns, isn't he in there? But didn't John Cena do that to Roman? I don't watch enough, but
yeah, there's a web of years that have led up to this that I cannot possibly take time out to explain to you right now. But
this is like an after hours Kingdom Report WWE.
That will be our other. That'll be our other show.
Yeah.
WWE Talk News Talk Live.
Yep.
That's right. Yeah, there's a lot to catch up on that front. But let's move back to the West Coast if we can. The Disneyland Resort updating attractions, adding new entertainment, several updates this past week for the 70th anniversary celebration. And we'll kick things off here by sharing with you that the Disneyland Resort, in celebration of the 70th, will honor 7 decades of happiness and many moments of joy in the making. The event kicks off May 16th and will run throughout the summer of 2026. Here's what guests can expect during the 70th celebration. So Miguel and Dante from Coco will be added to It's a Small World. Guests can see the new additions when the attraction reopens on April 25th, 2025. And Toy Story Midway Mania in California Adventure will include special 70th anniversary nods as well. Katrina, any other scenes in It's a Small World that you would like to see get some TLC, maybe some new characters?
Ugh, Mary Poppins.
Oh, shove her in England, huh?
Yeah. I really want the whole chimney dance scene. I don't know. I want it somewhere.
That'd be cool. That'd be a lot
Yeah,
of fun.
right? Or at least putting shadows or something of them dancing off to the side. Or
Oh,
if
the
they click into it,
shadows.
that would be nice. That's what I want. Mary Poppins.
That could easily be done. I'm just surprised that hasn't been done now that you mention
I
it. That's
know.
incredible. Wow.
It seems so easy in a
No
way.
kidding.
I know.
Anyway,
Everyone,
wow, coming soon.
yeah, Dick Van Dyke's his Cockney accent is just spot on. It just fits. Bless that guy. He at the time, no one questioned it, but as we've gotten older, we're like, but whatever. It's Dick Van Dyke, and he is a Disney. Is he a Disney legend? I'm pretty sure he is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's earned the right to do a bad Cockney accent, but he can also. And I love his chalk and how in the movie he would do and it would snap. I don't know why I love that scene so much, that all the chalk art.
Oh yeah. I love the sound, and because as a kid you just get trapped into awesome sound effects. And that's what makes it so special.
It is pretty special. At Toy Story Midway Mania, Garrett, getting some 70th anniversary plussing, as Walt would call it. As rides go more digital and projection in scope, what's your take on when Disney infuses these temporary overlays or changes?
I like it. I am a big fan of it because, the quote, Walt's quote is, Disneyland will never be completed so long as there is imagination left in the world. And I think this is a true testament to that because, you have the ability with, projections and anything digital, you can just do a quick little add-on and it's seasonal. It's not going to last there forever. And then it goes back to the original, sort of source material. I think it's nice because, you should be celebrating the 70th. I remember the 50th went absolutely insane with gold everywhere. And I thought they did a phenomenal job of it. Disneyland 50th, it's at a night and day comparison to Walt Disney World. Granted, it was during the pandemic, but Disneyland, they made that thing go for 2 years. And that was also during the Great Recession when, people were going to these parks to, escape with what little money they had. And so, the ability to enhance these parks with, this add-ons, I think it's great. And especially Toy Story. Toy Story is a timeless brand, and just a little pop on there. It's simple. It's not going to distract you. It's not changing the story of Midway Mania, or it's not going to get in the way. It's not like they're putting up an advertisement. You're already in the park. It's not a pop-up. And so I say embrace it, utilize it, and do it on other things. Of course, make sure it's appropriate. You would not want to see a 70th anniversary banner in the middle of Pirates of the Caribbean when the city's on fire. But some extra things on rides where it fits with the story, Small World, or even
Millennium Falcon.
Millennium Falcon. Yeah, Millennium Falcon, absolutely. It's a long time ago. Galaxy far, far away. Hey, there was just an announcement today that Millennium Falcon's getting some enhancements coming up, and I think I'm sad that Tyler's not here because I think he would have loved to cover the story personally.
We don't have that long of a show. He would be talking for the next 3 hours about it.
And a glorious 3-hour finale it would be. But yeah, I'm all for the enhancements being added to Midway Mania, and if they add it anywhere else, hey, hats off to them. As long as it doesn't distract from the story, then I think it's worth it doing, because you can change it back. There's no real it's not going to cause a detrimental harm in the long run.
I agree.
Nice to have overlays in general and be able to experience things with a different twist every now and then, especially when it's something that we've seen plenty of times, right? It's something that we kind of know like the back of our hand. Adding these extras during these special times of the year, or these special times of the decade, I guess, for the anniversary.
Yeah.
What a nice extra for us to be able to enjoy together. And I see that Dee McGee was sharing with us that she had planned to go, but ended up changing plans to visit Disney World for the candlelight processional instead, saying it's just too hard to get a room at the Grand Californian with her DVC points. Yeah, limited capacity, that's for sure.
That's the hardest DVC to get into. My father-in-law, Rex, he's got, a few different DVC contracts, and that is the most challenging place just because it didn't start as DVC, I don't think, or they just don't have the capacity. Like, they have the new Disneyland Hotel DVC, but yeah, Grand Cal, beautiful place, but Candlelit Processional, absolutely phenomenal. I say go when you have like a big name guest on there. Wade, I know that you have a personal favorite that gets up and does the processional.
Brendan
There's
Fraser.
a few personal favorites.
No. I'm talking about one that Wade has actually gotten to be on a golf cart with.
That's right.
That's true.
One Gary Sinise, ladies and gentlemen.
Lieutenant Dan. Ice cream, Lieutenant Dan. You ain't got no legs, Lieutenant Dan.
Is that you doing Forrest Gump? Is that what was?
That's my horrible Forrest Gump impression. Yes.
Nice attempt. David saying, "Hello, sending Disney magic from a cast member in Disneyland Paris." David, thank you.
Bonjour, David. Merci beaucoup.
Here it is, our resident Frenchie.
Merci.
Je parle petit français.
There he goes. There he goes. It's interesting to me. Not only are we getting the extras when it comes to It's a Small World, we're also getting that Toy Story Midway Mania overlay for the 70th anniversary. But there's a lot of entertainment coming too. In fact, that fan favorite Paint the Night. We all remember Paint the Night Parade.
I know you know it.
Oh, I know you know it too. The Paint the Night Parade will return, as well as the Anna and Elsa float from Frozen when it hits the Disneyland Parade route this summer. The parade will also feature characters from Pixar's Monsters, Inc., Cars, Toy Story, as well as Disney animation classics like Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, and so on. This, Katrina, is the single best rated thing from Disneyland's 60th anniversary celebration that, they kept offline. We've talked about this before. They kept it offline except for some special occasions like this, for example. They're rolling it back out for a special occasion. What is it about this parade that makes it so dang special, that got it all those high marks during the 60th?
Oh my God. Because it's a nighttime parade. I don't know. It's always fun with the pretty lights and everything. The music is killer. It's just like all of that stuff. It's just like wound up together, and then just something new. We always see the Main Street Electrical Parade, and it's just the same. I love it because I am sentimental about it because that's what I grew up on. But it's always it's going away. It's coming back. It's going away. It's coming back. And I was like, okay, this music is so boring now. It's old. It's old-timey. And then when you get Paint the Night Parade,
you paint it with light.
Yeah, it just when the 60th anniversary came out, everybody was so blown away by how beautiful, how big the parade items are, the parade floats, and just seeing Mac turn around from I forgot where we were sitting. We were around Small World area. No, not Small World. By the castle. But when he was turning around by Matterhorn, and then you kind of start seeing him and his glow, it is mind blowing to see Mac full size just walking around. Well, not walking around, but driving around. It's just one of those things where it's something new, something exciting. The music, again, is just amazing. And then I do like it more in Disneyland than in DCA, because right now what you're saying is when it was going through DCA, and so you see the Little Mermaid float over there, they had to take off the shell that was over, coming over. It was a wave, right? And because it couldn't fit under where the trolleys were, so they had to really reduce, and that's why you couldn't have the Frozen float at DCA, because it was too high and they couldn't take things off of it to make it passable. And then when you see the Little Mermaid float, they had to take that off. And I was like, God, it just works so much better at Disneyland. I don't know why, but it just does. And it's so beautiful. And I really hope that they add on that, that little wave addition to the Little Mermaid. That's what I'm hoping for. I
Better.
don't really care about the Frozen pool, to be honest. It is really pretty, but I'm like, okay, we get it. Frozen was like your bread and butter for a while. I get it. It's cool. Have fun.
Have fun, she says.
Mhm.
Yeah, there is nothing quite like this parade. I know. You're right. We're looking at it here from the perspective of when it had its limited run through California Adventure, and I think what it is. I mean, if I was to like analyze why it felt so much more special inside Disneyland versus California Adventure, I think it's because Disneyland, especially the corridors of Disneyland where this runs, it's so much more compact, right? It's so much more intimate in
Oh,
terms of
yes.
space. And so it felt like these floats were like sitting on your lap at certain
Yeah.
points. Whereas here, like this, the
Oh my
pathway
God, this is my
inside
favorite part.
California Adventure for the parade, very wide, right? Wide open, big open air
Yeah.
spaces. And so it doesn't feel as grand, maybe, as it did inside of Disneyland Park proper. But yeah,
I
I
think
mean,
you're
coming back to
right.
Disneyland for us,
Because like
right?
the whole Mac thing going in between Alice in Wonderland and Matterhorn, it's like
Larger
it's
than life,
big, but it's a tight
right?
squeeze. And then as
Mhm.
it's turning the corner, you're like, whoa,
Yeah.
oh my God. Like, how did this semi fit in the middle of Disneyland? I get you. Yeah. Because it was different. It was a different vibe in DCA. Like I remember watching it from when Carthay tried to do their little makeshift bar up on the balcony one, like for a
Oh, yeah.
split 2 months. We watched the this parade from up above. So it was actually really neat to look down upon it because you can't normally, right? You always
Right.
look upward. So it was really fun to look downwards and you get to see the drivers and stuff dressed in black. I think that was
Mhm.
like the coolest thing to see was like the drivers maneuvering around to make sure that they're within the range to like turn and all that stuff. That was the coolest part because it's really hard to like you Disney, there's no way to see from up above in DC. That was like the only time you could ever see looking at a parade from up above. Well, no, that's not right because like I guess the Magic Key Terrace you could look above
Oh, I
looking
didn't think
down.
about that. Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah,
There
because we
there
used
is
to
that
do that a
spot.
lot when it used to just be open all the time,
Yeah,
watching just the normal parade. That was always a fun thing, but yeah, those are the only 2 places, you guys.
that's it. Yeah, heck of a parade, and that finale with Sorcerer Mickey
Oh,
and the
So
Fab
good.
Five.
that's
Oh,
it's like a kaleidoscope effect. I just think that's so cool.
Psychedelic.
And like Sorcerer Mickey, to me, I don't know, he just is so iconic. Whether you go back to, Fantasia, um, he just always stands out. And the way that thing turns, like it's just simple, but it's mesmerizing and it's great. And when I think of Sorcerer Mickey, I always think of Phantasmic's finale, and that's what you're getting there. You're getting a mini Phantasmic finale, and you just want to see him, go off and do his thing. And so I think it's, ending it with Mickey is great. I hope that, I know they haven't announced it, but it'd be cool if they added like a new float with some other kind of like, I think the Sword in the Stone float from the Wade,
Magic
what's
happens.
the from Magic Happens. I think that could be easily a nighttime parade. You'd have to, edit it because I just think of Merlin in
I
his robe
wanted
with his
Kanto.
wand.
Give me
Oh,
casita. Give
that
me
would
casita.
both of those would be absolutely solid. But yeah, like doing like Magic Happens, like some of that element, because it's like a daytime version of this, but they do have some lights on there. But I'm just happy that Main Street Electrical is not coming back. I know many people love that, but it's a 40-plus-year-old
Yeah, give me
like
something new.
yeah, we need something new. And Walt Disney World is getting one this summer, so I'm looking forward to that even more.
yeah, Magic Happens looks great at night, and I think that was something that was thought about in the design, that this parade would be, of course, seen at night for at least half the year. And so, yeah, I remember catching it uh, right before the pandemic shutdown, because it premiered
Oh,
what,
that's right.
2 weeks before the
Mhm.
pandemic shut everything down. And I remember seeing it, and it was in the evening hours when it was getting dark still at that point. And they did, I think, 2 runs during the day. So they did like the evening edition and they did the edition. And that evening edition, things looked really cool. And I was like, oh, this almost feels like a night parade. And then, of course, nobody got to see it for the next almost 2 years. And this poor thing has never had the run that it deserves, for sure. But you're right, Garrett. It would be nice to see the elements of Magic Happens be interwoven. And yeah, Paint the Night coming back to us. Wondrous Journeys, the other piece to this story, that fireworks show Wondrous Journeys also returning for
so
this
good.
celebration.
Nice.
Additionally, the new nighttime projection show called Tapestry of Happiness will animate the facade of It's a Small World, blending iconic Disneyland attractions and music in a tribute to the park's history. And Garrett, the Disneyland Resort is known for its fireworks spectaculars, right? Known for these over-the-top shows. This announcement, though, that the 70th anniversary is ushering back in a show that people have seen before instead of a custom 70th fireworks spectacular. What's up with that?
I'm not sure. Like, maybe it's because they didn't get their use of, like, you know, all the different things that went into like that went into, you know, Wondrous Journeys. Who can really say? I remember that when Disneyland 60th went off, that fireworks show was amazing. You know, because it was the diamond celebration. I remember they had these lights that would go into the sky to make it look like a diamond in the sky. And I remember the Circle of Life moment more than anything. And, you know, I think each anniversary deserves its own special treatment. The 50th, 60th, 70th. Like when we get to 100, you know, that needs to. If they recycle some stuff from 20 years ago, I'll be very upset. In my older age, I'll be wiser, but also grumpier. So
you and your walker.
Maybe they'll have like new effects or maybe some new like little enhancements because you know they've brought out new IP. But don't really know why Wondrous Journeys is coming back. You know, it's cool. It's, you know, it's something that we know and love and have seen before, but I think a new fireworks spectacular is needed for these grand celebrations. They did it with, you know, they did it at Epcot, they did it at MK, and, you know, then they brought back the old ones. So I'm not sure why, but like, we'll just have to see what happens. And, you know, if people are upset, they will let Disney know. And I think Disneyland fans are a lot more intimidating than Disney World ones because these are the locals that really bring in a lot of business. Like when they bring fans from out of town or friends from out of town, and everything, you know, people want to go there. So I'm hoping that Disneyland will listen to, you know, the crowd more than Walt Disney World. You know, you're catering to the worldwide audience, while Disneyland, you're catering more to the California West Coast, you know, guest demographic.
Trina, you sounded like you were pretty thrilled to hear Wondrous.
Oh my God, Wondrous Journeys is good. I don't know what Garrett's talking about. I feel it never gives the love. I feel like Wondrous Journeys, they had it for COVID and then it got shut down and then it came back for like a blip of a moment and then it went away and then they filled it in with Mickey's Mixed Magic, which should die and should never come back.
That one I'm not a fan of. I will say that. No,
they used it way too much. But then Wondrous, now they know that people love it so much because of the music. Okay. And so now they take it away and they bring it back for a month and then they take it away and then they bring it back for the 70th. And I'm like, can you please like give us, I mean, I do want a new show. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. But Wondrous Journeys is so good. The Encanto area, like when they get to the Encanto part, I cry like a baby. Oh my God, it's so good. So good.
Okay, after we get done with the show, I'll watch Wondrous Journeys again on YouTube. I know it won't be the full experience, just to get a feel for it because
concentration, lower the lights, get into pitch blackness, put that on full blast surround sound, and then just dance.
I'm going full never-ending story, you know, blanket over myself with the flashlight, reading the book. I'm gonna go that way. But yeah. I think out of, you know, Disneyland has had so many more fireworks spectaculars than Walt Disney World. And I like that they keep changing them and adding new ones and making it better. Because, you know, at Disney World, you know, you had Wishes for several years. And now you've got Happily Ever After. And so, you know, in the span of 30 years, you've had 2 shows. Meanwhile, Disneyland, you know, you can probably have 5, 6, 7 plus. But yeah, Mickey's Magic Mix, that can go bye-bye. You know, go with the nostalgia. Don't make it just about Mickey, you know, embrace all these
Give me
different,
Julie Andrews narrating, please.
Ju-
Give it back.
she's practically perfect in every way, and
Seriously.
she is a former queen of a sovereign country.
True. I feel like if they were able to just give me a Julie Andrews narrating fireworks show again, because they did have one at Disneyland. What was it, for the 50th?
It was the 50th. Remember,
Yeah.
dreams come true.
Yeah, and
Oh,
I
mhm.
loved it. I adored it. I watched it all the time. And then they brought it back. It was a D23. God, it was like what, 2017, 2018?
Yeah, it had another limited run. You're right.
It was so good. I was like crying when they were like playing it because I didn't know. And I was like in tears. I was like, I haven't heard this in years. And then they brought it back and then they took it away from me again. And I was like, just give me a Julie Andrews narration fireworks show because it would be so good.
There's nothing like it. That 50th
Preserve
anniversary fireworks is something that, I mean, I measure that show up against every show that has come after it. And while all these other shows have had really great elements woven in, some new, right? Some very imaginative that they've never done before. I still look back very fondly at that 50th show as like, okay, that's still the crown jewel.
Yes. It was so. What was the other fireworks show that was at Magic Kingdom? God, it was like a blip. It was in between Wishes and it was like after Happily Ever After. Oh God, what was it called?
It was,
Hold on,
it
we
was
had
a one word, right?
I was like adventurous. That's not it. It was
Ba-bum.
so bad. I hated it. I thought it was
Look that up,
really
Garrett.
basic.
They had Disney Enchantment.
Enchantment. That was what
Enchantment.
it was.
That's what they did for the 50th. And I remember they got so much, like, it looked very cool. Like the poster art looked very, magical, but yeah, it just apparently got, sort of like negative reception and everything. Yeah,
it was so slow.
Yeah,
Like,
it opened
just,
October 1st, 2021, and then closed April 2nd of 23, and it replaced Happily Ever After, and then was replaced by Happily Ever After.
Exactly, because it just Happily Ever After, the music, everything. I mean, that was like Tyler and I's first dance song, sung by our best friend Tina. Like
Jordan
it was just
Fisher, like
beautiful. I mean, his voice is just like butter, but it's just, that was a horror. It was slow. I couldn't get emotional. Like Happily Ever After, when like the what is it called? Oh my God, my brain just died. With the Hunchback of Notre Dame, and then it goes right into Hercules and all that stuff. It gets you in like the feels. And then with Enchantment, I was really hoping that it would hit me in the feels. And then I watched it and I was like, is anybody else crying? No? Okay. Not just me.
Not quite.
And then I watched it again because I was like, okay, maybe it was just me. I'm in a bad mood or something. I don't know. Who knows? And I watched it again. I was like, nobody? Everybody hates it too? I was impatient? Okay. Yeah. It's bad.
Yeah, definitely doesn't live up to I don't know, the standard bearer, I guess we'll call it, of shows. And
I feel like Wondrous and Happily Ever After are kind of like equal with like the main theme song, right?
I can see
Wondrous theme song is so good.
Yeah, it's pretty darn great. And well, you get a chance to hear it again. It's
So
coming
excited.
back to you. The park also announced that it would add the third and final verse to It's a Small World, beginning on July 17th in honor of the attraction's 60th anniversary. We talked about that on a recent broadcast at length. You can go back and check that out. That is on the Disney Thinks Disney is Too Expensive broadcast. So you can go back and check that out. And the 70th anniversary celebration will also introduce the Celebrate Happy Cavalcade at Disneyland, featuring Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, and an array of rare Disney characters like Duffy and Shelley May. Duffy and Shelley May are teddy bear characters from Duffy and Friends. Katrina, Duffy and Shelley May, they're like mega stars at the Disney parks across Asia. And they've been tried here in the States. What do you think the allure of these teddy bears are?
I don't know. I know they had their moment at like Epcot and stuff too. And I didn't know if they're like as popular as they are in the Asia parks. And then when it came to Disneyland, I was like, you know what? Let's give it a shot. I don't care. Like I think they're adorable. Are they gonna be as big as they are? I guess Alani's they're pretty like they have like those types. Like, don't they have Shelly Mae over in Alani, or am I just making that up?
Yeah, they've got both of the bears. Yep.
Yeah. And like over there, it's pretty popular. So I mean, like we're right next door to Hawaii. So I mean, why not?
Yeah, just a quick little
We
swim
love
away.
everybody.
You'd think that they would be more popular in the States. I know every time I've ever come across Duffy at Epcot in particular, never has a line. And I even met him once because he didn't have a line, and I mentioned that to him. And I was looking for this photo earlier. I wanted to share it because I remembered this photo being captured. I can't find it anywhere, though. Duffy completely collapsed onto the ground when I shared that nobody was in line to see him and said, "How come you're a huge rock star in Japan?" I said, "But then you come here." And I said, "Where is everybody?" I said, "You're lovable." I said, "I'm coming to see you." He collapsed down onto the floor and put his face in his hands, and his escort that was with him said, "I think you just broke him." And I was like, "Well, maybe this is why people don't come to visit you. Maybe this is the problem. You can't handle conversation, Duffy. What on earth is wrong with you?" But I have this photo of me like standing there looking down at him, and him with his head in his lap on the ground. And I look like I'm trying to, mend a terrible infraction. And I for the life of me cannot rediscover this image anywhere, but I know it was taken, and I know I saw it just even a couple months ago. So I was looking everywhere for it, but he is definitely a huggable, lovable character. For those that don't know, Duffy and Shelly Mae, these are the teddy bears of Mickey and Minnie Mouse. And so that is kind of the gimmick. That they created them as companion characters to Mickey and Minnie out there in Tokyo Disneyland first, and then they just kind of spread and became this character onto themselves. And like I said, they're much bigger on the other continent than they are here, and so very odd to me that they just never quite hit the way that they did everywhere else here in the States.
Yeah, overseas, they are just people go crazy. They sometimes have longer lines than Mickey and Minnie and the gang, and they have other friends too. I think they have a turtle and a bunny, and they just have a whole full gang. And I think Duffy's cool. At first, I think because Duffy and the gang were introduced, you don't really know. You just see, oh, that's a bear, and you think of big over the top Disney characters. So maybe there needs to be some kind of additional story, because I know if you're seeing it on the Walt Disney property and they do like bedtime, and it's like Duffy is part of the bedtime story and you get to learn about him. But I think for everyone else, there's no real big like, hey, here's who Duffy is, here's Duffy's story. And also look at Duffy's face. It is Mickey Mouse. It is Mickey Mouse.
You see those ears around his eyes?
Yeah, it's a literal hidden Mickey. And I think Duffy is cute and great. And I think I saw Duffy once at Disneyland a while back, and he was over in the Paradise Pier area. And I was like, oh, like, who's that bear? And then you learn more about it. Like, and you're like, oh, that's cute. Because you're like, that's not Pooh Bear. That's not Baloo. I don't know that bear.
Right.
And so when I go to Tokyo Disney, I will take pictures with Duffy, and I will see the crowd's reaction to Duffy, because I think he's going to be crazy. And the Japanese culture, they absolutely love Duffy, and who doesn't love a teddy bear?
Gotta squeeze him and his gazebo at California Adventure. Well, that's not all. The Better Together, a Pixar Pals celebration, and the brand new World of Color Happiness will be at California Adventure for the 70th anniversary. The brand new show, World of Color Happiness, will explore happiness through a kaleidoscope of emotions, hosted by Joy and the other emotions from Pixar Animation Studios films Inside Out and Inside Out 2. The Nighttime Spectacular will also feature an interactive experience encouraging guests to sing and dance along, as well as a special performance of Rainbow Connection by Boys to Men, and an original song by Fitz and the Tantrums. The Muppets will also share a special message ahead of World of Color Happiness. I think it's worth going to just for that.
Oh, the Muppets. Who doesn't love? I love the Muppets. I think they deserve a little bit more, focus and love. And yeah, like I really hope Beaker's in there. Beaker's my favorite just because he just gets beat up all the dang time, and he just keeps doing it for the sake of science. So hats off to Beaker and his unrelenting handling of pain and abuse from is Dr.
Honeydew?
Yep, that's a mouthful. Yeah, Dr. Honeydew.
It's the truth. Katrina, it feels like they are going all in on World of Color being the center of attention for this anniversary. When you see World of Color, where do you find is the best spot for a prime view?
Ugh, that's a tough one. Definitely not in the front because you get wet.
Common misconception,
unless you
right?
want to be there. I don't really know. I feel like a lot of people, it's kind of like an annual pass holder thing, but they sit at the bar over at Lamplight Lounge down at the bottom. You're not going to get a great view, but at least you get like a good vibe, and then you could hear the music, and you're able to like sit down, eat some
You've got a
food, and
chair,
watch the show.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, and then you definitely got a chair. I mean, we've always, every time we do it, if we really want to see World of Color, we kind of just splurge and do the dessert party because then you do get a chair. It's not my favorite show, so to be honest, so we usually just splurge and just do it, watch it once with the dessert party, and then call it a day. Be like, we
Call
saw
it a
it.
day. You and
Yeah,
your treats. Well,
I know.
Garrett, how would you rank World of Color against nighttime shows at other Disney parks? I mean, is it a must see when you visit? And does a special show like this motivate you to want to see it more?
I love World of Color. I remember when they were just coming up with the idea for it, and it was the bay was completely empty because before it was just water out there, and then they showed like the Pocahontas and Crush, and I'm like, how are they gonna make like this happen? Because you don't know. And I will watch it on YouTube now. I love the music. I think all the different elements are great, and for me, I think the Buzz Lightyear segment where he's like zooming on, dun, 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 and you see all the lights like popping up down there, and then the pirates' fire explosion. I think it's a fantastic show, and it has yet to be replicated or copied anywhere else. To me, it's it's Disney's Bellagio fountain, and it's simply mesmerizing, amazing. When they do the Christmas holiday overlay, that one is kind of missable, but I think World of Color in general is a great experience. But you definitely need to be in the right place at the right time. If you're sitting in the back, you're not going to catch it. But even if you're just passing by, I think it adds an element. It pulls crowds towards it, and you can. It just shows what can you do with water and light, and tell a story. And it's like there are certain moments in it where you get to the song from Enchanted, and you're just like oh, the feels like, and I think that's when Simba is trying to reach out to Mufasa. The chills and the feels.
Chills.
Mhm.
Along with this new World of Color, lots of decor, of course. The new 70th anniversary decor will don the entire resort, including Sleeping Beauty's castle, which will have an elegant medallion to mark the occasion. A upbeat new theme song called Celebrate Happy will also be heard throughout the celebration. Guests can also expect themed decorations throughout the resort, including a 50-foot sculpture in the Esplanade, a vibrant floral Mickey display, and golden charms adorning Sleeping Beauty Castle. Carthay Circle restaurant, rather, at California Adventure, will also be decked out in 70th colors. In the evenings, the restaurant's exterior will invite everyone to celebrate happy during a special moment filled with music, lights, and projection effects. The resort teased that more details about the 70th celebration will be released soon. They are 2 months away. You better hurry up. But Katrina, how much does decor for a Disney park celebration entice you to visit? I mean, does it play much of a factor in your decisions? I guess you'd think back to maybe the most recent one being like 50th anniversary of Disney World.
That was sad. We were like, is it an anniversary? I don't know. I mean, I do believe, Disneyland is a lot smaller, so it is easier to decorate because you only have 3 areas: Downtown Disney, DCA, and Disneyland, right? Over there, you have like 4 parks. You kind of have to spread the wealth a little bit. I will say, it does I don't want to travel there just to see the decorations, because that's fine. But it is nice to see when you're walking around. You're kind of just like, oh, look, it's like a really fun celebration, new decorations, right? We all love new decorations if we go there a lot. It's just like a new view. Especially with the 60th when they just kept changing the spires. Do you remember that when they put the fake diamonds kind of like on top of the spires, and then a couple
They
months
kept
later they
trying
took them
different
down
things.
and then they
Yeah.
rechanged them again? And you're like, "Uh-oh." And then they were cast
Something
aside
didn't
at the
work.
end.
Right. Well, all that decor coming our way. It looks, based on concept art, it looks like somebody decorating a cake. Like
Yes,
that's like
yeah.
right, like the font and everything. Like that looks like somebody went in with cake fondant and decided
Yeah.
to write on a
It
giant
gives me
platform.
Hagrid vibes.
Oh, I can see that.
You're right. Oh, set on a little bit, Harry.
Happy birthday, Harry. That was my bad Hagrid expression. But at least they didn't decorate the castle like a cake, so that's good.
We've
Because
been through
please
that
leave it alone.
before. Yeah, that's
Leave
for
that girl
sure.
alone. She's been through enough.
Janice saying, I asked my daughter why Duffy and Friends are so popular in Japan, Asian countries. She said the people over there like cute and they're into cute things compared to the US. I mean,
It's very
Hello Kitty,
kawaii.
right? Like,
Yep.
isn't that an Asian inspired character? It's cute. It's extra
Cute.
cute. I can see
Very
that.
demure.
Absolutely. Very demure. Thank you, Janice, for that. And then, of course, in addition to all of these 70th updates, if you can believe it, ticket deals and
Whoa.
discounts are being
Whoa.
announced ahead of this. Beginning March 11th, visitors can purchase the limited time Disneyland anniversary ticket offer, which includes a 3-day one park per day ticket for as low as $120 per day, totaling $360. Guests looking for additional savings can opt for a 4-day one park per day ticket for as low as $100 per day, totaling $400. The tickets are valid for visits between May 16th and April 14th, 2025. Options to upgrade to Park Hopper tickets and add the Lightning Lane multipass are also available. Park reservations, of course, are required. Garrett, a few weeks ago, we were discussing reports that Disney was starting to recognize their high pricing was causing visitors to not want to return to their parks. This ticket deal was announced with these 70th updates. How connected do you think these two are?
Oh, discounted tickets saying that, like, let me do some formulas real fast. I would say that, they're going to be pretty related. And Disney's main thing is making sure they're not losing their market share out here. They want to make sure they are pulling the crowds more than any of the other attractions in the area. So I think doing the discounts, especially during the summertime when they were hoping to pull more people in, I think, that just goes hand in hand. And who doesn't love a discount when it comes to going to the theme parks? Granted, the tickets, even discount, are still more expensive than they were 5-6 years ago. And annual passes, don't even get me started on how much those have increased over the past few years. But I think for during anniversary time and during these special celebrations, I think it is great that they're doing this, especially if people's budgets are a little bit tighter. Any way to save a few bucks to get into the park, people are still going to spend a good amount of their extra funds for merchandise, food, drink, and all that. It's hard to go to a Disney park and not buy food and drink, because if you're there all day, you need drink, water. People want a Coke. People want some chicken. Everyone wants the chicken nuggets. And, if you lower the ticket price, then people will be like, hey, I saved money there. I can spend money elsewhere. And that's usually how the sort of thought process goes. I know that's how I think when it's like, oh, hey, I saved money on a plane ticket. I can then, do X, Y, and Z at a different place, or spend more money at the airport or something like that. And Disney vacations and experiences are not cheap by any means. They've just gotten more expensive over the years. So, saving a few extra dollars and having special discount and pricing around an anniversary, Disney will want to stretch this thing out. I know the West Coast and the East Coast don't really connect their businesses, but Disney is, I think, going to try and make up for the losses that they had during Walt Disney World's 50th, and I think Disneyland just does a better anniversary experience than anywhere else. So bring it on, bring on the celebration. I like those cards. I like the paper tickets more than a digital one, just because like you can collect them. They look so cool. I still have mine from the 50th, and I think it was Space Station X1 or whatever. Still have that, and yeah, the discounts at Disneyland always appreciative, especially if you are going there for the first time, because then hey, we went one time, let's go again.
I love those paper ticket keepsakes for sure. And I'd say to launch a discounted ticket offer going into a major, heavily marketed anniversary where they would normally be expecting full demand numbers, I think this is very telling, especially seeing that these tickets cover what is typically the busiest stretch of summer. Like these tickets, they're discounted for summertime during the kickoff season of a major anniversary. This doesn't really ever happen. So this is I think, a huge shift in the way in which Disney is approaching its fan base. And I no doubt feel like it's connected to the concerns we were talking about just a few weeks ago. I also wanted to take a moment to share with the two of you how Disney is promoting the 70th versus how they promoted something like, say, the 50th anniversary. So the 50th anniversary, I think we all are aware, at least, even if we didn't live through it specifically in the region and, weren't privy to it. That was a major, we'll call it a significant investment in getting the word out that Disneyland was celebrating an iconic anniversary. Fast forward, and we're here now celebrating the 70th, which, if you ask me, I feel like the 70th, I feel like this is a huge milestone anniversary also. Granted, it's not 50, it's not 100, but I feel like this is a major one too, in addition to the 50th, but they're both being marketed in very different ways. I want to play the ads back to back for you and get your reaction after.
Okay.
Something happy is happening you don't want to miss. It's the Disneyland Resort 70th celebration. And you're invited to this special event with new nighttime shows and limited time experiences. Celebrate happy with us at the happiest place on earth. Visit Disneyland.com/70 for more details.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome. Disneyland is your land.
This is a global event as Walt Disney World, Disneyland Paris, Tokyo Disneyland, Hong Kong Disneyland, and Disney Cruise Line join Disneyland in celebrating 50 years of magic. It's the happiest celebration on Earth.
Disneyland is dedicated to the ideals and the dreams that have created America, with the hope that it will be a source of joy and inspiration to all the world.
Trina, how do you feel between the differences of these two?
I feel like the Disney World 50 got shafted. They should have done that for Disney World too. It is cute seeing Soarin', how they're trying to like pimp out Soarin' and stuff. Because it's a brand new ride. It was adorable. They really tried to, I mean, they expanded a lot. I mean, they used all of the parks to celebrate the 50th, which kind of they should. It's a huge milestone to hit 50. Yeah, I don't know. 70th, I mean, I hated that. I hated that 70th commercial. It just seems so cheesy. And then I think the 50th kind of got you in the feels. Like towards the end, I was kind of I was grooving. What was that,
You were grooving.
Coldplay or something? What is that song? What is that?
Yeah, is that like is it La Vida or no, that was, it felt like the it felt like the Coldplay song. I
It was
don't
like,
know, but yeah.
Anyway,
Clocks.
but
It's called Clocks. That's what it is.
Clocks.
Yeah.
It just gets you in the feels because they are trying to make everybody live through the generations where the young and old gather together and just create memories and that type of stuff. Because obviously when Disneyland opened, they were probably younger and now they're grandparents and they're trying to bring the young to love Disneyland as much as they did. And now for the 70th, I feel like it's just like, hey, you're at work and you're bored. Here, why don't you go to the 70th? Because that's what's fun. And then, hey, you're in the car. Why don't you just go drive to Disneyland? Because I don't know, you have nothing else better to do. It just didn't really hit me in the feels like they should have done on the 50th. I feel like they should have done more.
Garrett, it's something that it struck me as glaring. I remembered back to the 50th. I remember back to these commercials, and I thought, wow, this 70th ad and like just the whole template of the 70th ad, I didn't feel any real emotion attached to it. Like it just felt like, hey, another day. Oh yeah, and we're also celebrating the 70th. It didn't really connect with me. But perhaps it was different for you.
No, I did not feel an emotional connection. When it comes to, Disney's advertising and marketing, it needs to pretty much in the first 5 seconds, it needs to draw you in and grab onto your heartstrings and pull on it. Like the second ad, it was so exciting, just seeing it, you can just see it, all the explosions, the lights, the colors, even like, the big, bold words and all the different experiences. Meanwhile, the 70th just felt like a casual, like almost like a tweet going out and be like, hey, we got this going on. Seems pretty cool. It didn't really
look at Mickey's dancing feet.
Yeah, and I love that Mickey now has the ability to be animated from blinking and talking. But you need a little bit more than that. Why not have go above and beyond, show what Disney's currently offering, what's going to be offered, and how they've got mysteries to uncover. Like make it big, bold, and daring. Don't do this little soft thing that would just be, just a small little posting. It felt like a social media post than an actual commercial, honestly.
And does it feel to either of you? I mean, it does. I mean, now running over this list of offerings, we've been talking about it in prior broadcasts, the things that they're offering for the 70th anniversary. I mean, does this feel big to you? Does this feel bigger than a typical trip to Disneyland?
I would say yes. I mean, they are bringing a lot more stuff back. I mean, we don't have a current parade really at DCA. We don't really have a nighttime parade. And then we have Mickey's Mixed Magic going on. And then they're adding a new little character and they're adding a new verse into Small World. It's kind of like what they did for the 60th, right? They brought in a nighttime show. They added the Yeti. And so they kind of added a couple new things here and there. And also it was like the 24-hour day, which was insane. The death of the 24-hour day was that year.
No kidding.
The 24-hour days are, whether it's East Coast or West Coast, those are exhausting, but a lot of energy and a lot goes on. My goodness.
Certainly a big experience heading our way with a lot of elements. It's great to hear that you do feel that it feels at least bigger than a normal Disneyland park day. And yeah, I think they're missing that emotional connection overall to an anniversary. And I always felt like Disney, especially when I worked there, I would hear the VPs and the executives talking all the time about, oh, we just got to get to whatever the 5-year mark is for the next big anniversary that we're going to celebrate. They kind of like rested on the fact that, you know what, we can always string the heartstrings of nostalgia. We can always
Yeah.
strum the heartstrings of nostalgia. And they kind of relied on that every 5 years as a, you know what, that'll give us the boost again. That'll make, like that. That's an easy
Kind of
thing
gets
to tackle.
old. Like, I know
And
it's easy to like tug the heartstrings, but it's kind of like, oh, in 5 years, hey, guess what? 75.
right, well, but what I'm
Yay.
saying is that I mean, I don't feel nostalgia in any of this 70th stuff. Like,
No.
other than bringing back, a couple of things that they did a few years ago for the 60th, I don't really
Yeah.
feel I don't feel the heartstring nostalgia of Disneyland like I do when I watch the 50th anniversary promotional stuff, right? Like the 50th anniversary, like that connects to your soul because it's like generations of families. Look at us all coming together. Like this is so special. And you feel it with that. Whereas this version, this 70th, it just feels like they're not connecting right. And
Yeah.
that's sad because it's such an opportunity to be able to go, you know what? More than ever before. And we've been through a lot in recent years, especially with how horrid the pandemic was and how awful that experience was going through Disney parks during that time frame. We've been through a lot. This is finally an opportunity for us to celebrate. The 50th anniversary of Disney World happened in the midst of the pandemic chaos, so they didn't get to do what they wanted to do or are using that as an excuse now, either way. And now here we are for the 70th of Disneyland. We can't make it connect a little more. We can't make it a little
Yeah.
more of an emotional touch point. That seems like a miss to me. That's too
Were
bad.
you wanting the Main Street Electrical Parade, Wade?
No.
No.
I'm kidding.
Wouldn't do it. No.
Like
Absolutely
the,
not.
the 70th only appears, once because it's, the 70th anniversary, and Disney is supposed to be known for these, over the top, loud, extravagant parties. Why not bring up Wondrous Journeys coming back to make Katrina happy, or, all these other little things. Like I know that, for the other celebrations, they'll use a lot of film from that they currently have, but either have the programs and all that expectations ready in advance and do a little promo at night to put in there and have all the features, rather than just being like, oh, hey, here's currently what we have, mark your calendars. Like, why not show like this is what we have coming up, get ready for it? Because until the concept art becomes a reality, people are just be like, oh, like it's just going to be same old. That's why you want to see all the decorations up on there and all that crazy stuff, and whether that is them doing a lot of prep work to put out like a board, or not a board, but like, put out the decoration, tear them down just for the sake of a promotional video. Sometimes you need to do that because you need to show them that it is already a reality and that it's not just, it's not just an idea that may or may not happen, because they've done that plenty of times where they say, oh, hey, we're going to have this, and then it gets cut because it just didn't work out or something like that.
It'd be fun if they actually, instead of Wondrous, even though, or I do love Wondrous Journeys, but if they did bring back, like with the whole nostalgia thing, right, is bringing back the original fireworks show. Because they did that once for the 50th kind of like throwback night, and they did like the original fireworks show, and it was very quick. It was very short. Maybe it might be working beneficially for their pocketbook because it is short. Fireworks were to be so much. That would be fun if they were trying to do like a little throwback moment. So then they could kind of, and then bringing back the Sunday dancing and stuff, because that would be kind of a throwback too. But also adding stuff from yesteryear, not 5 years ago, because everything has been like pretty much within like this like current decade.
Anything nostalgic would be helpful in a time like this, I think. So please consider it. Please, Disney, bring something back to touch the hearts. That would be nice to have for sure.
Did they have?
Well,
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, did they have anything about the audio animatronic Walt? Because I feel like it'd be like, have you ever wanted to, sit face to face with the man that made all this magic come true? And then it shows the Walt audio animatronic. Like, I feel like that would be better. That would be like, or you hear the "To all who come to this happy place," and then you see the animatronic do that. Oh, like that'd be like, wait, what is this? Like that would draw me in a lot more than Mickey hopping and skipping.
You don't want to watch his dancing feet?
He's got great feet, but if I want to watch happy feet, I'll watch the penguin.
It could work. Frankly, I think that to not try and use the Walt Disney audio animatronic and like the show itself, to not use that as the main anchor of this entire campaign is wild. Because it is your newest thing. And I get that it is maybe just a show in their eyes and it's interchangeable with Lincoln, but it's something new. It's something that connects to Walt himself. It's his park. There's so much that could be done around Walt Disney's new show, and you don't see or hear anything about it. So it is disappointing, and I'm glad that you brought that up because I think that
Are they trying
that's
to
a key
keep it
point.
quiet because of like Epic Universe stuff? And they're like, this may not be as good as what they're doing for animatronics side,
or are they going
is
to
it
be
'cause they're trying to keep it
publishing
so hush hush?
Like it's two different. It's like some commercials go towards the entire country, some go directed just towards like the local area. But maybe they're gonna put out something sooner once Epic opens. Be like, okay, now that Epic opens, all right, they're gonna get that. Now we push this out. I don't know it. Disney's marketing and PR team, they've hopefully they get paid big bucks to
I mean,
have a
they
strategy.
went pretty hard today on the concepts of things that are possibly could happen because
Blue sky.
Epic Universe stuff is being leaked. So they're like, this is what we could do on this cool ride for Monsters Inc. Is it going to happen? You never know, because they could be cutting back within the next 5 years while they build it. But right now they're slowly just trying to leak that out to try to keep up with the Epic Universe stuff.
It's entirely possible. I mean, it's
that's just me.
Yeah, no, it's a good call. You might be too far off in that calculation there, and it's just it feels like I said it's a missed opportunity to me. I feel like there should be a lot more in terms of focus here around nostalgia, around connecting emotionally to what's going on.
Yeah, give me the grandparents walking their their grandchildren into the parks. That's what I want to see.
Yeah. I mean,
give me that stuff.
Please, any of that. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's such a special feel, for I think just a theme park anniversary to have the look back at generations that have experienced it before you. How easy is that? Or just testimonials of people, that have experienced it from the 1950s to now, sort of a thing. I mean, it just feels like such a miss to me, and I really hope that here in the near future, Disney will not miscalculate as much because it feels like this is a pretty terrible miscalculation. It's an easy thing to do, to sell nostalgia and to rely on that, along with some of the new extras, right? Along with some of the new stuff that they have going on, because I think that there's plenty of that. They've got plenty of new stuff to also rest on. So I don't know. It's tough to see that they didn't take more of an easier out here and instead just made this a very plain Jane type of experience, plain Jane type of marketing campaign.
Yeah. I think one of the best commercials that Disney has put out didn't really have didn't have any attractions, and it was the duck commercial. It was the duck about Disneyland Paris. Like that
Jesus,
thing,
that was good.
You don't even know what it's about, and you just see a Donald Duck, thing, and it hits your heartstrings so hard, and you're like, my gosh, like it didn't show any attractions. It showed the castle at the end. It showed, Mickey. It showed Donald Duck popping up in a little comic book. But other than that, it did not have anything about, like a celebration. It was just a simple concept that, caught your attention because you're like, what is this about? And then it's Disney. You're like, oh, that's good. And so, they should have done something like that. Whether it was granted, a little mouse is not as cute as a little duck because it's like, oh, that's vermin and all that. But you could have done something with
right. I feel like it could
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, but even something like a golden retriever and then it runs into Pluto. Or
Sure.
yeah, like I don't know. Disney, you have the most creative minds in the world, and I have faith that you can hopefully when you come up with the next 70th anniversary commercial that it will be even better than this simple, toe tapper.
Maybe they need to talk to the Paris marketing team and get some insight
Is
because
it not the same marketing
Disneyland.
team? I don't know.
I don't think so. I think they have their own different PR teams and stuff on all the coasts, on all the parks, really. I mean, look at the merchandise compared to Asia and then France and then America. And I'm like,
Very,
ours
very
is
true.
garbage. Whoever's designing their merch right now needs to be fired.
Over in Paris?
Yep.
No, here in the United States.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's trash.
Yeah, Tokyo merch is the top tier. I think
Killer.
Disney Cruise Line merch is pretty solid, but all the merch departments, they're all, they are not in the same meeting. They are all like doing their own thing. They're like, this looks good, let's do that. It's like, no, that's hot garbage. Hey,
garbage.
Not your fave. Well. We have a 70th staring us in the face. They say more announcements apparently are coming. Like I said, as I'm going to go, you got 2 months. Certainly hope you would have all the announcements out by now to try and entice people to come. But maybe there's something else that we get to look forward to. Maybe there's something else they're going to throw our way that we will be able to enjoy during that 70th celebration. I understand that when it comes to Disney Cruise Line, they've got another ship on the way and just announced when the maiden voyage will be for the new Disney adventure. We are going to talk about that here just after we celebrate the anniversary of Disneyland. Stay tuned.
10 years of fantasy, 10 years of fun, 10 years of growing and you've only just begun. 10 years of building on a dream that never ends. 10 years of happiness for 50 million friends. 10 magic years ago you had to start. Now you're the kingdom of the young and young at heart. May you forever be the land of dreams come true. Congratulations, Disneyland. Happy birthday to you.
10 years of Disneyland. Now, how's that for a celebration?
Man, that had more energy in its first 10 seconds than the entire 70th promo video did, and it didn't even feature Mickey Mouse. It was just candles, off choreography. But man, what a show right there. They and that cake was better than when Cinderella Castle was a cake.
Running around, big old
Give me
slices,
those
Katrina.
dancing candles.
I'm sure one was gluten free.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And
It's
then
the one
what
on
was
the
it?
left.
And then was one of the costumes like an evil witch or something? I could not tell what it was. Like I was looking at the costumes of all the characters in there, and I'm like trying to figure out Mickey is Mickey, but there's some of them I'm like I do not know who that is. And
yeah, some of them are such a throwback. It's hard to tell, huh?
Yeah, like it could have been from their skeleton dance or their windmill days, but hey, OG Disneyland costumes, they were the thing of dreams and nightmares.
Nightmares for sure. Lots of scary faces. Mickey and Minnie in the OG costumes were terrifying. So we have come a long way, but that was 10 years of Disneyland, and let's not forget that was overseen by Walt himself. He didn't pass until the following year, and so he was able to be there for that, and probably choreographed all those slices of cake himself.
He was like, that one is going to be a nice vanilla.
Eating his chili.
Can you imagine if you tripped if you were a candle and you fell? That would hurt.
In front of Walt.
You.
You'd be dead.
I feel like his judgment would hit the innermost level of your soul, and you would just run away. He'd blow out your flame.
He would, hands on his hips with that stern look on his face. Oh, I can see it now. How terrifying. Well, Disney Cruise Line has made an announcement this past week. Garrett has all the details for us. What do you got?
Well, folks, big news for Disney fans and cruise lovers alike. Disney Cruise Line is prepared to launch its biggest ship yet, and it's set to make a splash over in Asia. Yes. The Disney Adventure is going to be measuring an impressive 1,122 feet long. I don't know what that is in inches or meters. I did not know the metric system, but it's going to weigh. It's a big girl. 208,000 gross tons, and will feature 7 themed lands and introduce several Disney firsts. The ship will carry up to 6,000 passengers. But if you're hopping on board from the U.S., well, you're going to need a passport. That's because this exciting new vessel will be home ported in Singapore. If you don't know where that is, it's not in North America. No, this is over just south of China in the city-state of Singapore, making it Disney Cruise Line's first permanent presence in Asia. And it will be doing short 3 or 4 night sailings with no port to call. But Disney does promise that the ship itself will be a destination at sea. So what can guests expect during their voyage? For starters, those 7 themed lands will include the Disney Imagination Garden, Marvel Landing, Toy Story Place, San Francisco Street, Town Square, Wayfinder Bay, and Disney's Discovery Reef. Marvel Landing will feature the Iron Cycle Test Run, an 820-foot long roller coaster where guests can test drive Tony Stark's Iron Cycle Protocol, racing 30 feet above the upper decks. Meanwhile, Toy Story fans can cool off at a themed water play area, and the guests looking for some gaming fun can visit the Big Hero Arcade in San Francisco Street. And hopefully Baymax will not run out of his battery, because that'd be very bad. Along with that, there's going to be some amazing stage shows that will take center stage with performances scheduled at multiple venues, including the Walt Disney Theater and the Disney Imagination Garden. And these look amazing. They have everything from Moana to Pirates to some Pixar love. And among Disney's first, there's going to be a Marvel style studio where guests, including adults, can get Marvel-inspired hairdos, makeup, and clothing at designated times. And the salon will even, like I said, transform adults into an adults-only lounge. For the younger guests, Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique returns, and this is a personal favorite of mine. Nothing says quite like you're an adult male, like getting pixie dusted in the middle of your cruise. But hey, it's my cruise. I can do what I want. I can be pixie dusted, and I can fly like Peter Pan. And Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique is going to be, ages 3 to 12 with amazing transformations. Now, picture this. You're sailing the high seas surrounded by the magic of Disney, Pixar, and Marvel, and, you're hoping for a room. But it's not just a room. It's going to be a themed experience, and they're going to have special touches from all your favorite Disney films. I'm personally imagining a room where the furniture talks to me like in Beauty and the Beast, but instead of a candelabra, it's going to be Iron Man telling me to suit up for breakfast and get those Mickey waffles, especially the churro waffles. Those are the best. And for those that like to live large like myself, they've got 2 Frozen-themed concierge royal suites, and these aren't just rooms. They're kingdoms, living rooms, dining areas with a bar, main bedroom, kids' room, bunk beds, 2 in-suite bathrooms, and a veranda with a private whirlpool. And I'm picturing myself floating in that thing, sipping some chocolate milk like a boss and yelling, "I'm king of the world," trying to live out my Leonardo DiCaprio fantasy, but without the tragic ending. Spoiler alert. Now, everyone loves food, especially me because I'm a foodie. We're going to be honest, and that's what we all love. They've got 2 entertainment restaurants, 2 animated restaurants, 2 gourmet restaurants, and a variety of themed experiences all throughout the ship. And, more food, less problems, and is the rule I like to live by. The only issue with this entire cruise experience is that, it's only 3 or 4 nights. How are you supposed to sample all that food? Well, they've got rotational dining, so that just like the other ships where you can hop around from all these different places, so that way you'll have the same, serving staff helping you out the entire way, but you'll get to experience all these different things. All the Disney cruise lines do this, which I think is amazing. So that way you're not just stuck in the same place every single night, that we get to try different food, different theming, and they will no doubt have amazing storytelling elements like other ships. The Disney Adventure is scheduled to set sail on December 15th, 2025. And this ship originally began as the Global Dream, but Disney purchased it for a steal of a deal when the company sort of went belly up during the pandemic. So this might be a one-off ship. It doesn't look like any of the other Disney ships in terms of, look and everything. They've definitely adapted it from what it was originally like. So I don't expect any other ships to be quite like this, but this is Disney's introduction into the Asian cruising market, and I think it will be perfect for what those fine folks over there are looking for, especially with all this Disney IP. As I said, it's going to be operating out of Singapore, their Marina Bay Cruise Center, for at least 5 years, and bookings are already open through September of 2026. And for those coming from the U.S. East Coast, this is the perfect opportunity for you to be on the longest nonstop commercial flight, which is 18 to 19 hours from JFK to Singapore. And then if you're coming from the West Coast, LA, boom, 17 to 18. I don't get how 2 separate ends of the country are similar in time, but hey, we'll just let the people that fly do all that stuff. But if going to Singapore isn't really your ticket and you want to do something a little bit closer to home, well, Japan's right there. And in 2029, the Oriental Land Company, the company that owns and operates Tokyo Disney, will be launching their own cruise ship in Japan. And I personally am looking forward to hopping on that because Tokyo Disney has always gotten rave reviews for being just ahead of the game, especially ahead of the U.S. parks. And I can only imagine what that cruise ship and what those crew members will be like. So if you're dreaming of a magical voyage, the Disney Adventure might be, waiting for you just across the Pacific. And I hope that if any of you go out there, that you will buy me a ticket as well, so that way I can come along and we can enjoy chicken nuggies and work on our tans as we sail around Singapore. So cheers, and see you real soon.
First of all, that flight sounds like a nightmare. And second of all, often heard that Tokyo Disneyland Oriental Land Company does Disney better than Disney does Disney. So I think everybody will be lining up for that one. Disney Adventure, though, do we know, is this bigger than the Wish? Do we know that?
Yes, it is. This is significantly bigger than the Wish, Treasure, and the Destiny. That's their current Wish class ships. This thing, from the picture here, you can see that where the officers operate out of, it's slightly pointed out. That's different than any other ship. They still have the 2 smokestacks. Only one is actually used for actual operation. The other one is just there for the aesthetic piece. But yeah, this thing is a behemoth. It is it's going to have multiple attractions on top, the roller coaster and other fun experiences, a backstage show. It almost is going to be comparable to an MSC type of ship where you have sort of a Grand Central Avenue in the middle of it. While on the other Disney ships, it's a lot more compact. You don't really have an open air deck like the Imagination Gardens. This one is sort of like almost a city on the water, and how fitting for Singapore, which is one of the most vibrant, exciting, and busiest places in the world. And look at Iron Man there. Who doesn't want to hang out with my boy Iron Man? So it's going to be it's still part of the Disney Cruise Line family. It just is going to have a slightly different look. So maybe it's Disney's distant cousin from over in Singapore.
It looks like there's a ton to do in your exploration of this story and looking into it. Anything that stands out to you, Garrett, is something that you're like, wow, that's for me right there.
There's so much going on that it's kind of hard to pick out different elements. I do like this Imagination Garden that we're seeing right here, where it's kind of open air. I feel like that'd be a good place to just hang out, relax. If you need to do some work or some emails, that'd be a great place to just chill. The Iron Man roller coaster sounds terrifying and exciting at the same time, just because I don't know, being on a roller coaster over the ocean, going at fast speeds. What happens if I fly off track? I'm going into the water, and then
Final destination.
And then I can live under the sea. But yeah, there's a lot going on. This is a very IP heavy ship where you are seeing a lot of these big name brands. Big Hero 6, I love just because I don't think it gets enough love. But yeah, Town Square there, that's where you essentially walk into the ship. That's going to be like its main central hub, and it doesn't look like any of the other ones, which are usually 3 or 4 decks, have a huge statue in there. And Wayfinder Bay, that looks like the back of an MSC or one of the larger Royal Caribbean ships, not like a traditional, not like like usually Disney ships on the back of the ship, it just goes staterooms, and then like you don't have like a little walkway out there. That is like a pool deck at a resort, and then you got the rooms behind it. So yeah, definitely a different layout of the ship entirely. I just hope they have 3 elevator bays. That's the biggest negative point of the Treasure and the Wish, just because there's only 2. And with this thing being so big, you need that. And I just worry about the rooms below that top deck. How loud is that going to be during the day? And like how much privacy do you have? The little cards, that looks cute. Probably can't do that. Probably way too much. That little roller coaster looks fine. I think Disney
Isn't that where the garden is?
Below that it will be like what we just saw, like on the top deck. That's like their Marvel landing part. Imagination Gardens is going to be like in the
inside
valley.
There.
Yeah, it's going to be in that sort of like little valley kind of avenue.
So you don't think that's going to be loud too because of all the echoing coming down from the
roller coasters?
And the kids screaming and the parents screaming and everybody screaming.
That's why they're going to add the unlimited drink package to drown out the screaming.
Oh my gosh, Disney would never.
Yeah, but no. Disney does not do an unlimited drink package. I like how they have an Animator's Palette type of look, because Animator's Palette for me is just the OG best restaurant, especially when it all comes to life. It looks cool. It looks nice. I think they've taken what they've done well on other ships, and they said, "Hey, we're going to direct this towards new cruisers that are live probably in Asia or that part of the world that have never done a Disney cruise, and we just want to shove all the the things that have worked best." And I think it's going to have a different feel than the traditional ships. Is that shawarma? Love me some good shawarma.
This food's making me hungry.
But no, that is a titan of a ship. It still has the look, but you can just tell from some of the shapes and all that it's not the traditional Meyer Wharf Disney original design, because they bought it from a company that did not do so well, but they got it for a steal of a deal. I think they got it for just like maybe 40 million instead of 3.5 billion. So yeah, that's a pretty good deal. So good job, Disney, on that. And I do not predict that this thing will be doing any kind of sailings here in the Western Hemisphere. I don't see it docking at Castaway Cay unless it's just for promo videos, just because
Why do
of
you
the
think
sheer,
that?
I think promo videos will happen just because Disney always wants to have promos, but it's just so dang big. It's comparable to the Royal Caribbean ships, and those things have a hard time finding certain ports. They have a hard time docking in the Bahamas just because they need an entire they pretty much take the space of almost 2 ships to a certain way.
Yeah.
These are massive hulks. Yeah, this thing is going to be slightly longer, but definitely wider and higher up than Dream, Fantasy, Wish, and Treasure. But I'm looking forward to seeing. I probably won't be going on this thing in its first year just because it's a good ticket price to get out to Asia. But I definitely want to go on and just check it out. And plus, if I go to Singapore, I can then do Captain Jack Sparrow's. Clearly, never been to Singapore before.
Really? Yeah, it almost
Worth it.
it makes me think that Disney's finally branching away from the ocean liners of old that they kind of modeled their first generation of cruise ships after, and this really does look like a Royal Caribbean theme park at sea. That they're
Yeah.
going more in the direction of, outside of just the exterior motif, they're keeping the ocean liner look to the outside, but it looks like within everything is going the way of an MSC, a Royal Caribbean. And you're right, Garrett, we were just looking at the other clip there of the sister ships, and I don't know of an aft end of a ship currently that will look like the Adventure, with all of that additional space out back, and tiered seating and pools and everything. Most of the ships kind of look like this one.
Yeah. On the ship we have right there, that looks like the Dream or Fantasy, just because it doesn't have the long, rise of the Aquamouse. And Disney likes a very sort of classic, iconic, very streamlined design where it kind of drops off. It looks fast. It's got that angled bow, but this thing looks almost like pointing out the front, box in the middle, and then it drops off in the back. And Disney did with the Imagineers and Meyer Wharf, they did what they could to make sure that it had that Disney look. Originally, it only had the one smokestack. They had to add that second one because that creates that sort of balanced look of the 2 smokestacks, which you don't see on any ship nowadays because they just don't need that many boilers like you would on the Titanic and the classic ocean liners. Right. But yeah, this is going to be a big girl, and I'm looking at the comparison size of this compared to other ships, and if you look at just the gross tonnage, it is just huge. 200,000 gross tons is a lot. I'm pretty sure that the Wish and the Treasure are maybe only 158. And yeah, the Adventure is nearly 2.5 times larger than the Wonder and the Magic in terms of gross tonnage. And yeah, that's just that's big. Yeah, the Wish 144. The Wish is 144,000. This is a good 60,000 tons more. Yeah, I'm sure if I'm standing next to this, I'm gonna feel even tinier than I do with the Wish and the Treasure. Let's go.
And you're a tall guy.
Bring it to San Diego.
I am tall. I am a good 50 foot tall, and this thing's only gonna make me feel shorter. But yeah, I'm looking at some side profiles of it, and it doesn't have quite an angled bow like the other ones do. It still has the look, but yeah, it's the ending part that just sort of drops off. That just isn't in the typical Disney formula. And if you are a tried and true, Disney cruise line, I could see you just avoiding this just for the sake of one. It's over in Asia. That's a long trip to go. I think a lot of people would rather do a Disney cruise over in Europe during the summertime, just because Asia can get quite hot, especially Singapore in the summer can be quite humid and very sticky. So I think everyone, if you've never done a Disney cruise, always try domestic first and then go overseas. That just is easier because you want to have a good experience. That's the main thing.
Trina's right. Bring it to San Diego.
Yeah. Don't give me just 1 month of cruises and then they're really, really expensive. I need give me at least 6 months.
At least. Let this baby get parked in Galveston then. If you need a port, Give it that port. Come on,
Mm.
something. Bring it on
Park,
over.
California.
Park it in Omaha. Omaha has a very large port. You know, it's, as you know, Omaha has a very large aquatic atmosphere, being the most landlocked state.
Sail it down the Mississippi River.
That's
I
true.
think I think it would be stuck and would be too wide for certain parts of the Mississippi River. That this is not what Huckleberry Finn and Tom Sawyer rode on. I'll tell you that.
That's for sure. Well, I mean, it looks like a behemoth. It looks like there is so much new about this ship that it excites me more than any of the other ships I've seen. I feel like a lot of the ships that we have witnessed in recent years, they're kind of replicas of each other. You know, there's a lot of the same over and over again. There might be tweaks to a theme, but it's a lot of the same. And this looks like a drastically different turn. And whether that is because they had to purchase, this out of bankruptcy, this bones of a ship and retrofit. I don't care how it happened. I'm just glad it happened because it looks like this is in a completely different perspective on how Disney Cruise Line will be building ships from here on out. So the Wish class being, I guess, left in the dust now, and we're on to the next big thing. So looking forward to this Disney adventure finally setting sail for all of us to enjoy. Hear, hear. Well, that about wraps up this broadcast of Disney News Talk Live. As always, so grateful that you decided to spend some of your weekend with us. And, our best to Tyler. Hopefully he gets back safely. And, to both you, Katrina, and you, Garrett, thanks for dropping in and sharing your thoughts this weekend.
Well, thank you for allowing it.
It's always a pleasure. Happy to talk Disney cruises. I've actually got on my Disney Cruise Line Pirate hoodie that I got from New Year's, so I was definitely in theme. I am actually sitting in a pool veranda right now. Ariel's not happy that the carpet's getting wet. But that's what I do to make sure that the theming at the experience is as immersive as possible. I've been spraying myself with salt water, and my eyes are just bloodshot now.
Wow, you're really going through it.
I didn't choose this life. This life chose me.
Clearly, that's for sure. But no, it's grateful to always be with you. Grateful to be with our viewers, and hopefully we'll be back in front of cameras with you, with Tyler here in the very near future. Be able to share with you all that's new and exciting with the Disney parks, both here domestically and around the world, and any other Disney Cruise Line information coming our way. Final thoughts before we depart, Katrina?
No, it was fun to chat with you guys.
No, it was
My
fun to chat
boys.
with you too. No, oh, you're and our girl Katrina.
Yeah.
Garrett, final thoughts for you.
It's always a pleasure, and this golden goose might be flying down to Florida next weekend, this upcoming week, on the 11th. It's actually my birthday, and I'm thinking about maybe going, leaving some cold weather behind me and heading for something more tropical, getting myself a pub sub. Flower and Garden just kind of opened up, and I got to see Communicar Hall not as an empty husk. So we'll see if it goes through. There's also supposed to be a blizzard coming into these parts, so we'll see if I'm a golden goose or if I'm a frozen goose.
Oh no, gotta fly
Filled
south.
goose for dinner. Yeah.
Ooh, I do need to fly south. Florida is south.
South.
Yes, I do.
South for the winter.
I had to question that. I didn't I'm not the most. I'm directionally challenged.
Or fly west. Either one. South. West.
I don't know, but getting over them Rockies, that's kind of rough.
That's for sure. Got to fly high. And happy early birthday to you. I hope 21 years is worth celebrating. And you can finally crack open an adult beverage. Thrilled for you, buddy.
Oh, thank you. 21. I may look 57 and act like I'm 7, but I'm actually 21.
All of it. So, yes.
Cheers. You guys are presence in my life. So I'm not gonna open you up because that sounds very violent.
It does indeed. Yes. Well, safe travels to you down to Florida, and we will see you all next week for another edition of Disney News Talk Live or Kingdom Report Live.